Hi, we are the Galaxy Girls, and we are part of the mission that will be planting tomatoes and strawberries on Mars. Our mission objectives are to plant tomatoes and strawberries on Mars in a greenhouse, which is a safe and controlled environment. We will also be analyzing the life of beetles and ladybugs on Mars, and noticing whether they can survive in extreme conditions or not. We will be measuring and studying the growth of the ladybugs in the greenhouse, and measure the effects of less gravity on the ladybugs. We will also attempt to create a sustainable environment capable of providing enough nutrients and photosynthesis in order to grow tomatoes and strawberries.
We have decided to land our ship on the Gale crater. We chose this location because it is safe and reliable. This location has been a prime spot for other missions, such as Curiosity. It is an ideal place to study our objectives. But why grow tomatoes and strawberries? With limited space up on Mars, tomatoes and strawberries make for good crops to grow successfully. Within the movie The Martian, they use potatoes, but the reason for this is because he had limited resources. Although potatoes produce a lot of food, and almost all the plant can be used, the space needed to grow them is too large. Our choice in growing tomatoes and strawberries is based on the fact that these two crops are known for being able to grow in harsher environments. Also, since we will be using greenhouses to create a plantable atmosphere, space is limited. Tomatoes and strawberries are not picky about the amount of space they need to survive. Therefore, we believe they will flourish.
When researching who we wanted for our mission team, we came across two scientists that we thought would fit into our mission. And the first one is Rob Furl. His educational background is that he has a PhD and a master's degree in genetics and biochemistry, and he studied at Indiana University in 1980. He also has a bachelor's degree that he achieved from Hiram College in 1976. And when researching this scientist, we came across a quote and just something that he had said that we liked because we thought it fit into our mission. He mentions that plants will play an extraordinarily important role in allowing humans to explore destinations like Mars and the Moon. They will provide food, oxygen, and even good cheer to astronauts from far from home. To make the best use of plants off Earth, he says that we have to understand the limits of growing them at low pressure, and then we have to understand why those limits exist. Our other scientist that we found and want to bring aboard is Luther Jenkins, and he studied at Brown University as well as George Washington University, and he currently works at NASA as an aeronautical research engineer. And we want to bring him along just so that he can help us with the spacecraft and the actual landing on Mars and being safe while doing it.
So while researching, we had to notice a good background, and we researched a lot that has to do with our project. And as you can see in the slides, this picture is a picture of the Mizuna lettuce growing aboard the International Space Station before being harvested and frozen for the return to Earth. And then next to it is the International Space Station, which the ISS plans on eventually producing an in-orbit garden for growing edible plants. During NASA's Expedition 39, a growth system called Veggie was put into place on the International Space Station to see how well plants grow in microgravity, and the results actually look very promising.
For scientific merit, if people plan on living on Mars, a source of food is necessary to sustain life. The sooner we figure out a source of food, the sooner we can send missions of people to live on Mars. And to grow plants on Mars, one must consider the environmental issues, such as being too cold and not having enough oxygen. This may affect plants and cell growth. Although tomatoes and strawberries are not a prime source of food, it's a start to see what can be grown on Mars, if anything at all. In order to produce crops, you need space, water, soil, and some kind of fertilizer, and plenty of sunlight. Unfortunately on Mars, none of those things are easily available, which makes things a challenge. But with the crew that we have hired, it is manageable.
So for our budget for this project, we were hoping to be able to keep it under $1 billion, and we understand that spacecraft and anything that has to do with space exploration is very expensive, so that was our goal, and we're happy to say that we kept our budget down to $950 million, and with all of that, we're able to obtain enough resources, materials, technology in order to make it to Mars, plant the plants, and research the things that we want to learn. So.
As for our education and outreach, we understand that the youth in society today are a big part of our future in our program. So we hope to be able to teach the schools in the USA from the range of elementary schoolers to middle schoolers and high schoolers. And we will go around and teach them about the biology and life cycle of plants in accordance to the similarities and differences between Earth and Mars. And this should help get them interested in the idea of growing plants and sustaining life on Mars, because this is the future and they are the future. And they could possibly be on one of the spaceships in the future growing plants on Mars.
Thank you for listening to us Galaxy Girls. We're very passionate about our work, and we hope that can provide more education and curiosity for the generations to come, as well as understanding about providing life on Mars. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.